The Boy Scouts of America files for bankruptcy amid wave of potential lawsuits. Interesting, because legally they're not the Boy Scouts anymore. They changed their name a few months back to the Scouts of America when they started accepting girls. Facing a wave of lawsuits over allegations of sexual abuse, the Boy Scouts of America has filed for bankruptcy. The long anticipated, really, was it? Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing will allow the Boy Scouts to keep operating as it reorganizes its finances to handle claims, here it comes, from hundreds of potential victims. It will also give alleged victims limited amount of time to come forward before being barred indefinitely from seeking compensation. But what type of victims? What were they victimized for, as, whichever is the proper word in that case? The Boy Scouts of America cares deeply about all victims of abuse and sincerely apologizes to anyone who was harmed during their time in scouting. We are outraged that there have been times when individuals took advantage of our programs to harm innocent children. Roger Mosby, the president and CEO of the Boy Scouts of America, said in a statement released around 1 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday, keeping late hours, "While we know nothing can undo the tragic abuse the victims suffered, we believe that Chapter 11, with the proposed trust structure, will provide equitable compensation." Really? Is there such way to... whatever. "To all victims while maintaining the BSA's important mission." Okay, so let's get into why we're covering this. First of all, let's compare it to the other ones, because they do, and it should be compared. Experts and lawyers drew parallels between the Boy Scouts and other embattled institutions that have had to use bankruptcy for costly lawsuits over abuse allegations. Do you see the word that's missing in all of these allegations of abuse? We're not talking about kids getting hit. Look down here. Oh, we continue. Numerous Catholic dioceses filed for bankruptcy after clergy were accused of sexually abusing children. USA Gymnastics filed for bankruptcy in 2018 as it faced 100 lawsuits from more than 350 sexual assault victims of team physician Larry Nassar. Now, there's a huge difference between Larry Nassar and the Catholics and the Scouts. The huge difference being the sex of the victims. The victims of Nassar were females. Larry Nassar's a male. So we're talking apples and oranges at this point. Whereas if you go to the Boy Scouts, before they changed their name, these are boys that were being sexually assaulted. And they were being sexually assaulted by men. And the Catholic diocese was an absolute majority of boys being sexually assaulted by men. And regardless of where you read the stories, or where you hear the stories from, not including this channel, you will notice that there is a set of words that is continuously left out when it comes to sexual abuse from a male to a male, in particular if they're young males. And there is a name in English for males who have relations with males, and that word is constantly left out of the press and the media. And more importantly, well, maybe not, maybe equally as importantly, not only is that word continuously left out in the media, as it is in this article, it is nowhere to be found, and it won't be found in any of the mainstream. I'm not so sure it's even found in the trickles. Is that the opposite of a mainstream, a trickle? Is the idea the Boy Scouts were forced through legal lawsuits to accept the type of men who like to be with men. And in so doing, of being forced to take those folks on, now they find themselves amid a wave of potential lawsuits for abuse. People would say, are you accusing that men who like to be with men are also men who like to be with boys? Well, the sexual lawsuits seem to indicate that the answer to that is a humongous yes, or there would be no lawsuits with the Boy Scouts. There would be barely any lawsuits for the Catholic diocese if that were not the situation. So here was the Boy Scouts with their lifelong mission, that's the wrong word, their lifelong rules, that's better, their lifelong rules to not allow in, as leaders, men who like men, because there's a huge possibility, so says the lawsuits, that if they let in men who like men around little boys, that's just asking for trouble. They were forced to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the trouble. It was asking for trouble, and the answer, thanks to the prior lawsuits, was yes, we would like trouble, thank you very much. And now they're going to go bankrupt. So talk about a darned if you do and darned if you don't situation. Here they were trying to prevent this situation, and they were sued into oblivion for trying to prevent it. And now that they lost that, and it did happen, nobody feels sorry for them. Everybody's pointing the finger at them, and everybody wants their money. Doesn't seem right, does it?